Have you ever stopped for a second and imagined what it would be like if the objects we use every single day had actual emotions, personalities, and thoughts about the way we treat them? Imagine your chair sighing every time you sit on it, or your toothbrush screaming in agony every morning. Sounds ridiculous, right? But let's be real. If everyday objects had feelings, our lives would instantly turn into a mix between a comedy show and a psychological horror movie. So, let us dive into this absurd thought experiment and explore what would happen if the inanimate suddenly became way too animate. First, let's start with the most obvious victim of our daily abuse, the smartphone. Think about it. You drop it, you throw it on the bed like it's indestructible, you stare at it for hours without a break. If your phone had feelings, it would definitely be the most emotionally unstable object in your house. Every notification would be like, ugh, again? Can't you just let me rest? And imagine how much trauma your phone would carry every time you dropped it face down. That would be like you getting tackled into the ground head first, and when you plug it into charge overnight, your phone might whisper, "Please, no more energy drinks, I'm already full." Now, let's talk about chairs. Chairs would probably develop PTSD within the first week of their existence. Every time someone sits down, the chair is like, "Oh no, here we go again. Please, not this guy, anyone but him." And when the same person keeps rocking back and forth, the chair would scream internally, "Stop! You're going to snap my spine!" Imagine a dinner party where every chair in the room is just sobbing quietly under the weight of human existence. We'd never sit the same way again if we knew our chairs were emotionally processing everything. Moving on to mirrors. Mirrors are probably the most emotionally complex objects if they had feelings. Imagine having to reflect people every single day, no matter how they look, no matter what mood they're in. You wake up in the morning, hair everywhere, face like a zombie, and the mirror is like, "Oh my God, why are you doing this to me? Couldn't you at least wash your face before traumatizing me?" And think about selfies. Every time you take a selfie, the mirror would feel used like, "Wow, so I'm good enough for you to pose with when you want validation, but the rest of the time you ignore me?" Typical. Mirrors would be bitter, sarcastic, and absolutely judgmental. Let's not forget about toothbrushes. Oh boy, toothbrushes would probably have the roughest lives of all. Twice a day, you grab them and scrub your teeth like you're sanding down a piece of wood. If they had voices, they'd probably scream, "Stop scraping me against your bones!" Not to mention the absolute horror of being shoved into your mouth first thing in the morning, when your breath is basically a biological weapon. A toothbrush with feelings would definitely be the most depressed object in your house. And don't even get me started on the times you forget to rinse it properly. Pure trauma. Okay, but what about socks? Socks would have abandonment issues. Think about it. Every single time you do laundry, one sock mysteriously disappears. If socks had feelings, the one left behind would be sobbing. "Where's my partner? We were supposed to go through life together. You monster, how could you separate us?" And then you just throw that lonely sock into a drawer where it sits for months, grieving in silence. Socks would hate us. Umbrellas would probably be the most resentful objects of all. You ignore them most of the year, shove them into the back of a closet, and then suddenly yank them out during a storm. And when you do use them, you slam them against the ground, twist them in the wind, and then leave them wet and shivering in the corner. If umbrellas had feelings, they would be like, "Oh, so now you remember me? After months of neglect, now I'm good enough for you?" Umbrellas would definitely hold grudges. Now let's imagine kitchen objects. Knives would be terrifying if they had feelings. Every time you used one, it would laugh maniacally like a villain in a movie. "Yes, let's slice again." Plates, on the other hand, would live in constant fear. They'd be like, "Please, not the spaghetti. Anything but the spaghetti. Why do you always stain me with this red sauce?" And cups would constantly complain, "Why do you always leave me half full? Am I not good enough for you to finish?" Honestly, the kitchen would be the most dramatic room in the entire house if objects had feelings. Let's not forget alarm clocks. Alarm clocks would absolutely hate their lives. Imagine being an object whose entire purpose is to ruin someone else's day, every single day. Your alarm clock would cry, "I don't want to hurt you, please don't hate me, it's not my choice." And then you slam your hand on it, throw it across the room, and curse at it like it committed a crime. Alarm clocks would live in constant emotional pain, knowing that their only job is to make everyone angry. Shoes would have complex personalities, too. Sneakers would be laid back, always ready for action. High heels would be bitter, constantly complaining. Why would you make me stab the floor like this? And why do you walk so awkwardly when you wear me? Flip-flops would just scream in pain every time they smack against your foot. Slap, 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 why are we doing this? Shoes would be like different kinds of coworkers, some chill, some dramatic, some completely unbearable. Laptops would probably have severe anxiety. Imagine being forced to store thousands of files, photos, and questionable internet history while people slam your keyboard every day. If laptops had feelings, they'd be like, "Stop! My brain is overheating. I can't handle all these tabs." And when you spill coffee on them, that's basically murder. Your laptop would gasp, "I trusted you, and this is how you repay me?" Honestly, laptops would be like overworked employees who desperately need therapy. Okay, but let's zoom out. Imagine a world where literally every object had feelings. Elevators would get annoyed every time people pressed the wrong button. Seriously? Floor 7? We were just there. Do you even know what you're doing? Traffic lights would feel powerful, but also stressed. Everyone's staring at me. If I turn red too soon, people scream. If I stay green too long, people honk. I can't win. Even doors would get tired. Stop slamming me. I'm not built for this kind of abuse. Now, of course, this idea also has a darker side. Imagine how horrifying it would be if garbage bags had feelings. Every time you throw something in, they'd scream, "Why are you stuffing me like this? I can't breathe." Or tissues. Tissues would live the saddest lives imaginable. Every time someone grabs one, it's like, "Oh no, here comes the sneeze. Please not again. Achoo, no!" Honestly, if everyday objects had feelings, humanity would be the biggest villains in the universe. And think about cars. Cars would be the ultimate drama queens. They'd complain about traffic. "Why are we stuck here again? This is torture." They'd cry every time you scratched them. "My paint, how could you scar me like this?" And they'd get jealous when you use another car or call a rideshare. "Oh, so I'm not good enough anymore? Fine, go ahead, betray me." Cars with feelings would be exhausting to deal with. But let's be honest, some objects would probably enjoy their lives. Pillows, for example, would be thrilled. Every night they'd be like, "Yes, cuddle me. I was made for this." Blankets would be smug, always feeling superior. "You literally can't live without me when it's cold. Admit it." Even pens might be proud. "Every great idea, every masterpiece. Yeah, that was me. You're welcome." Not every object would be miserable. Some would absolutely love the attention. In the end, imagining everyday objects with feelings is hilarious but also terrifying. It makes you realize how much chaos we'd cause if the things we take for granted could actually feel. Our houses would turn into soap operas, full of drama, complaints, and emotional breakdowns. Maybe it's a good thing objects can't feel, because if they did, we'd all be canceled for object cruelty. So, next time you drop your phone, slam a door, or throw away a tissue, just remember, if objects had feelings, you'd be the villain in their story.